Hi, welcome. All right, so we are starting. I'm going to share my screen here with you. There we go. Hi. I'm so happy that you are here today. Thank you so much for joining me. This is CBT, self-coaching model, or cognitive behavioral therapy self-coaching model. So we're going to go through this. It's going to be so much fun. This is groundbreaking. This is earth-shattering. This is real transformation quickly. This is really something where if you're practicing this constantly or just starting to put it into play in your daily life, you will have a hard time not having a transition and literally transformation in your life. So I encourage you to really take this to heart. It's not that hard, but it is hard to shift our mindsets. I'm a big firm believer that when we raise our vibration, we transform our life. And so this is one of those things that by using this tool, you will literally shift the cognitive functions and design of your conscious and unconscious mind. They're going to be working together, and the same synchronicities will just literally trickle down, and it's going to be amazing. So we'll get started. Okay. I am Sasha Reinke. I am your mindset coach and master healer. And I want to remind you before we go to the next slide to download your curriculum workbook. That is really designed to get you writing out this CBD self-coaching model and really seeing how your thoughts are going to start to shift as you work through the book. So definitely download that. It's in the curriculum. And all right, so our presentation outline today, we're going to talk about what it is, its function, the model itself, how to use the model, and then the hierarchy of needs, which it plays a role within the model, and then of course your desired result, and finally, how to start that self-therapy practice. I love this thought. I also love this imagery. Your thoughts are seeds that you plant. Now, I did at one point, and I don't remember who it was, I was watching a video and they gave this really great representation of your thoughts. If you imagine your brain like a garden, but this garden is empty, or maybe right now it's filled with weeds. Maybe you have some flowers off in the corner and then the rest is just dirt and there's some weeds popping through. Your brain is ready to be flourishing. So just like any garden that literally needs some tender loving care, that's not producing plants, that's not producing the results, right, that you want in your garden, you need to plant seeds. You need to nurture your garden. You need to take care of your garden. And what you do today will impact your future. So imagine your mind like this incredible garden space. It's open and ready for you to take care of it. You might have to go and weed it first and get rid of a bunch of stuff that's not serving you and not helping you. But when you do, you'll have nice fertile land to plant those seeds to flourish in your life. All right. So I just want you to really kind of take that in, really think about it. Your thoughts are seeds that you plant. You want them to grow. So plant good seeds. Have good thoughts. What is CBT and the CBT model? This is a way to process for information that leads you to a better understanding of your own mind, okay? And how it reacts to just stimuli. All right, so the stimuli of everyday life. How it works is you are given a formula, that's the model, to process stimuli, and you can choose how you basically react to that stimuli. So you're going to be constantly getting stimuli, constant. You live in the world, you'll get stimulation, stimuli, all right? These are the events in our life. An event can be a huge, massive event. It can be a tiny little, pretty much obsolete event, right? It's how you attach meaning to those events. So you are given a formula to process stimuli, and you can choose how you react to that stimuli in order to achieve a desired or undesired result. So a desired result is a result that you want. This is what you desire. You know, the system worked for you. The model worked. You got the outcome that you wanted. An undesired result is the result of an event that you did not want. Now, this is kind of, tricky. You might think, well, if someone was nastying me at the grocery store, that's not a desired result, but how am I supposed to control that? Whatever it is that you're doing, whether that event is a big experience in your life or it's just day-to-day normal mundane activities, these are events. They're events. They don't have to be huge to be an event. So how you're going into this event is going to impact the results that you get. Okay. So if someone was nasty to you at the grocery store, what are the underlying circumstances? Did you need to be at that grocery store at that time? Was everyone, hurried? Did you accidentally do something and they took it wrong? Of course, there's just nasty people sometimes. So not every desired result is going to be perfect because we are interacting and cohabitating on this planet with other people who are also interacting and cohabitating with everyone else on the planet. But by using the model, you will get a higher percentage, and especially a very high percentage most of the time when you really start putting it into play, of the desired result, which basically it's like those seeds that you're planting. You will get that amazing garden. It might take a few months. It might take a year to really see the massive impact, but you will be so happy that you started. All right. But first, thoughts are not feelings. And we've got a couple slides to hone this in. Thoughts are not feelings. This is a very confusing concept for a lot of people when I discuss it with them and they start to quantify what it is that they're doing in their day-to-day life. And when they're being coached, there's a lot of misunderstanding of what we think are feelings, what we've kind of been trained from childhood to assume are feelings that are not feelings. They're just thoughts. So feelings are one word and are expressions of emotion, okay? Examples are sad, mad, glad, happy, excited, fearful. If it's a full sentence, it's a thought. We have a lot of thoughts that come through our head about our feelings especially, but that does not make them actual feelings. So to identify and distinguish these two will actually save you a lot of emotional energy. We're going to get into this a little bit deeper. So a thought example. I felt like she was out to get me. That's not a feeling. That's a thought. Now, I feel like this gives me an edge. Again, we might be using the word feeling, but it is not an actual feeling. That's a thought. I feel like he's always making my life harder. Again, that is not a feeling. That is a thought. I feel like this is causing me joy. Still, use the word joy and feeling in the same sentence. It's still not a feeling. It's still just a thought. I feel happy when you bring me flowers. That sounds like it's a feeling, right? But it's not. It's actually just a thought. These are all thoughts. So examples of feelings are very simple. Joyful, exuberant, elated, blissful, tired, exhausted, energized, jealous, hurt, afraid, fearful, overwhelmed, panicked, annoyed, proud, relaxed, tranquil. These are actual feelings. Okay? So I want you to say this. I want you to say this out loud to yourself, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I want you to say this to yourself. I can influence events in my life. I can influence events in my life. I have that power. I have that control. I want you to say that. Say, I can influence events in my life. A lot of times we feel like we can't influence those events, like the person at the grocery store that may have been kind of nasty to you. We feel like there's a disconnect. You have no relationship to this person. How can I impact this event differently? But you can, and we'll kind of work through this. So the CBT self-coaching model, there's an event. The event you attach a thought to. Then those thoughts create feelings that you have towards the thought and the event. You then create your actions or reactions based on the feelings and the thought of the event. And then eventually you have a result. Whether that result is a beneficial result or a detriment result, whether it is a desired result or an undesired result, it's all based on how you see this model play out in your event or experience. So if you want a different result, if you're not seeing the results you want in your life, you're not getting the results on a regular basis that you want to achieve or accomplish or do or just be or have, you have to create a different thought. Okay? So you have the end result here, right? You have to create a different thought based on the event that occurred. So, for example, someone's nasty to you at the grocery store. You think that's an event, it's not a big deal, but it really bothered me, so it's lingering in my mind. That is an event that you're now attaching a thought to. And then you have feelings based on those thoughts. And then your actions, everything else that you do, will be impacted throughout the rest of the day. And then your results are what's happening based on that outcome. So if you want a different result, you're not achieving what you want, you have to go back to the thought. Not the event, but the thought. The event played out the way it played out, but you can choose a thought that you have about that event. You can choose to think, wow, that person is really nasty at the grocery store. Like, oh, what a horrible human being. What a just rotten person, right? Like, oh, I can't believe that that person acted that way. What a horrible, way to treat someone. Like, that's a lot of negative, deconstructive thoughts, right? And then your feelings are being created based on those thoughts. Or, and this is the thing, so that's going to impact the rest of the day, right? So then we can choose our thoughts and think, wow, that person really behaved badly. Something must have occurred in their life that really, triggered them, and they must be hurting. Gosh, I hope that they're doing okay. Right? Totally different thought process. All right. But that different thought process of empathy and compassion and just maybe even interest, or, maybe you don't have to even feel compassion. You can just be like, wow, that person behaved really weirdly. Gosh, I wonder what happened in their life today that made them act that way. Just be curious. But the idea is that thought that you attach to it now has a different set of feelings that you're going to feel. Those different feelings are going to create different reactions or actions from you, which will get you a different result. The system is very cyclical, okay? So you have to create a different thought that we just went over. You do not need to alter the event. The event is going to play out the way it does. Now, if you are doing this consistently, okay, the way you have a thought and then your feelings and then your actions and then your results will start to impact your events on a continuing basis. So you get more and more and more of the results that you desire, that you want, instead of just going with the flow and kind of seeing what happens. Okay. So you just need to understand that you control your thoughts about all events in your life, whether it was in the past, whether you're worrying about the future, whether it's a present moment, whether someone's coming in at you, whether you're reacting and putting out your energy out. You control how your thoughts play out in all events, big, small, medium, large, tiny, all of them. Okay. If your thoughts are destructive, you'll get pretty negative results. If your thoughts are constructive, more positive, you get a more positive result. Okay. The end result is what we're looking for. Okay. Here is how this plays out. This is a cyclical model, which means it just keeps going. It's going to go as long as you're alive. This system is going to play out, and it's going to play out in your favor, or it's going to play out in your detriment. So you want to play this out in your favor. You want to adapt these to your life and put it into practice and actually create a life skill from it. So you get the actual end results that you really, really want. Because if you're not, then other people are starting to help shift what results you actually get. We don't want that. We want to control our lives. We want to be as much in control of our lives that we can, but really putting this into practice is going to give you the results, which gives you that control, okay? And it's just going to keep going on repeat. Okay, so here is the actual cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, self-coaching model. So here is your event, whatever it is, it's taking place. You have a trigger, okay? Now the trigger is basically whatever happens at the event that now you are creating those thoughts from, okay? Now, these triggers can be based on emotional needs or misguided wants. And we're going to go over the hierarchy of emotional needs in just a moment, but just keep that in your mind. There's an event, a wedding, going to the grocery store, going to the bank, going to work, your kids coming home from school, you saying hi to the neighbor. These are all events. Going to the mailbox. Like, it doesn't have to be a big event, but it is an actual event that's taking place in your life. And there's going to be some kind of trigger that creates a thought based on that event. Now, your emotional needs or misguided wants are going to help shift where those thoughts go. So this is where it's very important to choose the thoughts that choose the thoughts that you are going to have based on this triggered thought from the event. Then we're going to go down to thoughts. Now, when you have the thoughts, these can be constructive thoughts, all right? The positive type, like, gosh, wonder what's going on in their life. I wonder what happened. I wonder if they're okay. These are constructive. Destructive thoughts are going to be like, what's wrong with that person? I can't believe they behave that way. I would never do that, right? Or passive thoughts. There will be events in your life that things just kind of come and go and you could care less about. So these are just going to be passive thoughts. They come in as quickly as they leave, and there's really no actual kind of, we're not really looking for a result from them. Going to the mailbox, no one was there. Okay, that's fine. That's sort of a passive event. Okay, so feelings come next. These feelings are going to be rational or irrational. Okay, rational feelings are going to be formed in what's actually occurring, not what you perceive is occurring. So, for example, let's say in this grocery store example that I'm referring to, you saw this person as being really nasty, but what you don't know is 2 minutes before you actually cut them off. And so they remember you and they're actually thinking you're the nasty person. Okay. We never know what's playing out in other people's lives, but this is a irrational thought, assuming that they're a nasty person. And they're thinking, gosh, you're the nasty person. There's a fun story of people driving in cars that I will do my best to explain. If you imagine 3 cars, the driver in the front is thinking, the driver in the back, so there's a driver in the front, the driver in the middle, and the driver in the back. The driver in the front is just sitting there waiting at the light. The driver in the middle starts honking. From the driver in the front of the car, they think, wow, that person behind me is really impatient, okay? The person who's honking in the middle thinks, gosh, that person's not paying attention in the front car, okay? And they start having an internal dialogue, thoughts, based on what they see as their perception. Okay. And then of course a third car comes up and they are going, why isn't anyone going at the light? What's going on? Both of these people clearly have no clue. They're making now an assumption based on the 2 cars ahead of them. But what's funny about this situation is all 3 cars, they're all isolated. They have no idea what's going on in the actual, person's vehicle and what's going on. Maybe they're looking over or whatnot, but each one has a thought about the other. And those thoughts then create feelings, and those feelings then create action. And in this circumstance, the honking was the action. Now, did the person get a desired result that they wanted? Did the car move, or did they just get an angry person in front of them now? That is the kind of event that takes place in our lives on a constant basis. So we want to really make sure that we're paying attention to the thoughts that we place on those events. So the feelings, the rational and irrational, the rational side is, oh, the car behind me honked. Okay. That is a fact. They honked, right? That's a rational thought. An irrational thought would be, what a jerk, this person's honking behind me, right? We're placing an actual feeling that we don't know what's going on in that car. We don't know what they're thinking. We don't know what they're doing. We don't know what's going on. Maybe we're distracted now by the car. We didn't notice the light screen. There's so many variables, right? But we place an irrational thought. The other one is rigid. And so when it comes to rigid thoughts, there's going to be rigid or chaotic. Your brain has two spheres. What happens when you are in a state of flow, or when athletes get into that state of intense focus, they're in a state of flow. They are literally not, they're using both sides of the brain and both hemispheres, and they're causing synchronicity in their brain. Okay. They're getting the wires and to fire, and the synapse connections are making connections, and they're literally cross communicating. Okay. So what happens, that's good. That's what we want. We want our brain to work and function as a whole. When we get into our thoughts, and then we start to create feelings based on those thoughts that are very intense, we can fall prey to getting really rigid thoughts, which are very stubborn and concrete. My way, nothing else works. You know, you're wrong, I'm right kind of a scenario. That's a very rigid thought. Or chaotic thoughts, where people usually, they have a lot of emotion attached to it. So it's, you know, poor me. Why did this always happen to me? This is always happening. I'm stuck in this kind of situation. Or how dare you, you know, I'm doing my best. I can't believe you're treating me this way, right? Those are very chaotic thoughts. And so when you get stuck in rigidity or chaos, you are not in flow, and you actually are not aware of all of the things that are happening around you that are playing out that could be impacting your events and end results. All right. The next one here is action. So your action, whatever it is that you choose to do based on the thoughts and the feelings that you have, you're going to have a reaction to. You could react. You could react positive. You could react negative. You could be indifferent. You could really care less about what happened, right? Or you could avoid. You could do avoidance, where you're just like, I'm going to just avoid being a part of the situation. I'm going to take a step back, or I'm just not going to think about it because it impacted me really intensely. So all of those, we want to really make sure that our actions are based on what we want as a result, because that's the next level. If our actions don't make sense with what we want as a result, then we're not going to get the results that we want. And so the results can either support our goals, it can derail our goals, or it can just be neutral, right? So if you're just walking to the mailbox, you know, your goal is to get the mail. More than likely, not a lot's going to occur to derail your opportunity to get the mail. There's also probably not a lot to occur that's going to support you in your endeavor in getting the mail. So it's kind of a neutral event. But in general, they fall into support our goals, to derail our goals, or actually just neutral, has no impact on our goals. All right, this is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And so many of you have probably seen this before. These are the levels that we have to sort of have sustained to some degree in our life to be really a well-functioning human being. And if these layers, and they kind of have a little bit of shifting sand in them, right? So some things might be met while others are being, you know, sort of increased, or, you know, maybe they kind of start to, you know, for example, if you're doing really well at work, your home life might suffer. If you're doing, you know, spending a lot of time at home, your career might suffer. So there's a little bit of shifting sand in these, but the bottom one is your physiological needs. So this is just, you have to have food, shelter, and some kind of rest, right? Rest and activity. The next one up is your safety needs. This is where you feel like you either need to protect others or you need to be protected. This is your fight, flight, or freeze mechanism kind of plays out here. The next one going up is your love and belongingness, or love and connection, your sense of being a part of community or a tribe or a family. The next one up is your esteem needs. This is where you actually desire the respect from others, and you want to give respect to others as well. Then moving up the pyramid again, there's the cognitive needs. This is your desire, your prefrontal cortex, your active adventure part of your brain, where you actually seek out knowledge and you want to learn new things. You want to be a part of functioning society, and you want to actually understand what's going on around you. Moving up further is the aesthetic needs. This is more of the beauty, art, sort of the inner well-being, but also just kind of a balance and order and enjoying life around you. And then the top of the pyramid, kind of, there's a degree to it, but it's self-actualization. This is you realizing your full potential, whether it be professional, whether it be nurturing, whether it be artistic, whether it be just, a self-care or a spiritual routine, but really kind of coming in to your own person and understanding yourself on a better level. So if your needs on the bottom, just like anything here, if they start to suffer, so your physiological and your safety needs start to suffer, you're not able to transition up the pyramid. Okay. You're not able to transition up this hierarchy of needs. So you really need to have a good solid foundation that's not going to crumble so that you can elevate and keep going up. Now, how that plays out in self-coaching, we'll talk about in just one second, but for the most part, that's your hierarchy of needs. So you need to have those needs met, especially those basic fundamental needs met. And then when it comes to wants, okay, your wants are anything that you can live without, yet you actually think it's going to enhance your life in some way. So, you need food and shelter, but your wants are that you want, 5-star hotels and dining out all the time. That's a want. It's not a need. It's a want, but you perceive it as very important. It has a high value to you. So what you're doing in your life is going to impact that high value want that you want. And then we're going to actually take just a second here to just recognize that you need to pay attention to your feelings. If you get a trigger from an event, this trigger is a very good indication that that is something you want more of in your life or you want less of in your life. So triggers are not bad. Triggers are just signals. And our unconscious mind, which represents 95% of what we want and do on a regular basis, it's literally running the show. So unless you've really done a lot of inner work and you've really taken out old programs and replaced it with good positive programs, you have a lot of programs running from basically 0 to about 7 to 9 that you did not choose yourself. And so what happens is, your prefrontal cortex is saying one thing and your unconscious mind is saying another. And so what we can do, besides the inner work where we start changing those and transforming those, this is one of those things where you can start to transform that. But you need to pay attention to those triggers, those feelings, because if you're getting jealousy pangs, for example, if you're scrolling on Instagram and you see someone's lifestyle and you're like, I want, why does that person have that? Why can't I have that? And you're starting to feel really jealous, or you're feeling really frustrated about your position or where you are in life. That is an excellent indicator that that's probably something you want more of. All right. Now, if you want something more, if you're like desiring that, understand that the jealousy is there to give you the actual motivation and drive. If you didn't have jealousy towards it, it wouldn't bother you. Right? So, what you need to go ahead and do is figure out, is this something I want more of, or is this something I want less of? Now, of course, when you're scrolling on Instagram, you might find people that you're just like, I just don't like their posts. I can't stand this, unfollow or whatever, right? That's a little bit different. That's something you want less of in your life. But if you're feeling the heart pangs of jealousy because you see someone flying to Bali, you need to think, okay, this is my unconscious mind with things that I want and things that I'm doing. This is it trying to tell me, you are ready for this. You can achieve this too. Why aren't you pursuing this? This is what you want. So use it as a tool to your benefit so you get the results that you want. All right, so this is the model. This is going to be in your curriculum, so I encourage you to remember, go to your curriculum and download this. And so how to use this actual model. So you can do this for literally everything and anything in your life. If you have a feeling, you can run this model. If you're alive, you can run this model. Running this model over your past events and past experiences will help you kind of hone in the skill. I don't want you to spend too much time analyzing things from 10 years ago or 20 years ago or 6 months ago. That's not what our goal is. Our goal is to understand the model and move forward with it. However, if you do have if you're doing some shadow work and things keep coming up for you, if you're having a lot of nightmares and things are really bothering you, if you have a lot of stress and anxiety, you don't know where to attach it, go through some of your past events and think, okay, what happened? What was the event? What were my thoughts about the event? What were my feelings based on those thoughts? What actions did I take based on all of that? And then what was the desired result? Hopefully you get a better perspective on this. So I just want to emphasize with these arrows, there's an event. What happened? Okay. That is going to affect your thoughts. What thought did you arrive at based on what happened? Then's going down to the feelings. What feelings came up for you? Okay. And when you figure out what the feelings, what was the action you took based on those feelings? How did you react? And then finally, did you get the result you wanted? If you didn't get the desired result, you need to go back and change the thoughts. The thoughts will then trickle down, change your actions, and get you a better result, a different result. Okay? Here is the actual desired result. So to actually determine your desired result, you cannot get what you want out of life if you don't know what it is that you want. If you don't know what result you're looking for, and the results don't have to be amazing, you don't have to buy a house in Paris. You can just be like, I want to have a great day every day. Might seem like a far-fetched plan, might seem like an easy plan, depends on your thoughts. Right? So determine your desired result. What is the result that you want? What is the result you want every day, going to work? What is the result you want when your kids come home from school? What is the result you want when talking to your mother-in-law? What are the results that you're actually looking for? And then start to change the thoughts, the feelings, the action to get that result. So when you have events, you can make the necessary thoughts about it, understand your feelings, and then take action that gets you your desired result you want. All right, let's start self-therapy. You can impact the world with your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and your results every single day. So this is for everyone. And this is definitely for you, because if you're alive, you're going to have thoughts, feelings, actions, and then have a result. So make it something that you want. Yay! You've reached the end. Thank you so much for being here. I want to remind you, never give up. These are my confidence bananas that you'll see here on the side. My son and I made these the other day. And confidence banana is just something that you literally, you give it to your kids for snacks and things, but you have cute little notes written on them. So I absolutely love those. Definitely stay in touch. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Sasha Reinke. You can also visit the website, sashareinke.com. And I encourage you to go and remember to download the actual workbook and go through the work. This will not work for you if you don't actually do the work. So I was so excited that you came today. I am so happy that you were here, and thank you for joining me. Have a great day.